Hi there, it's Tracy with Psychic Blessing. Today my topic is about soulmates because this is one of the most frequent questions that I receive from clients. People are very consumed with wanting to know about soulmates. If they're in a relationship currently, they want to know how they know if the person they're with is their soulmate. If they're not in a relationship, they want to know, how can I find my soulmate? Is it possible that I could just miss my soulmate? Do people connect with their soulmate in every lifetime? So there are lots of questions about soulmates and how to determine whether or not you're in the ideal relationship or the one that's intended for you. So I wanted to take a few minutes to discuss that. And there are so many different variables and aspects to the whole soulmate issue that I will conduct more than one video on this because it's such a deep topic of discussion. But I guess the first thing maybe I should start with is how to determine whether or not you're in a relationship with your soulmate, or the person you're with is actually your soulmate. Are there any signs or symptoms or indicators to suggest or help you to solve that mystery so that you can know for sure? One of the things that I find really interesting is when I hear from clients who tell me that they're head over heels in love with the person they're in a relationship with, but they don't know if they're soulmates or not. So, couple of things. There are certainly specific signs and indicators about soulmate energy. And I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in a moment here. But I guess I need to really give you some background information on what a soulmate is, what a soulmate isn't, and how you can determine whether or not you're in a soulmate relationship. A lot of times people will confuse the term soulmate with other terms, such as twin flame. And so I'll probably discuss twin flames in another video because that in and of itself is kind of a lengthy discussion. But I'd like to start with a foundational understanding. A lot of people use the term soulmate interchangeably just as a term of endearment, like my lover, my best friend, my wife, my husband, my soulmate. And so it's just kind of a warm, fuzzy term that a lot of people use, and there's not a solid understanding or foundation regarding an actual definition for the word or for the term soulmate. So let's start there. And the way I like to explain this to people is this. And I ask you to just go with me on this for a minute, depending on what your belief system supports. If you're just willing to accept the possibility that what I'm about to tell you is in fact a reality, then I can move on to the next level. So let's just assume for a moment that we are all spirit beings and we are already immortal, we're eternal, and that we live multiple lifetimes. And that each body that we put on is just like getting into a new vehicle, you just went out and bought a new car. Same thing. This body is your vehicle for this lifetime so that it will carry you through this lifetime and empower you and facilitate your ability to have your experiences and learn and grow and evolve at the soul level. So if you can accept that that's true, or a possibility anyway, then I can explain further. So given that that's our foundational basis and understanding, there are a couple of different terms that I want to explain. The first one is kindred spirits. Kindred spirits are what the kind of relationships that you encounter when you feel like, I feel like I've known you forever. You just meet someone and you feel like you've got that immediate bond or connection with them. There's a spark there that you just feel an immediate affinity and connection with this person. And that's the reason you feel that way, is because you have known them forever. And the reason that you've known them forever is because, as souls or spirit entities, we tend to want to connect with a core group of people, or other spirits that we have an affinity for, that we have a connection with, we just like to hang out with lifetime after lifetime. And so kindred spirits are those people, or those souls that that we share multiple lifetimes with frequently. And what I mean by that is that you have a core group of spirits or souls that you like to spend time with. You just like to share lifetimes together. And so in one lifetime, you might show up in someone's experience as their sibling, in another lifetime as a best friend, and yet another lifetime as a parent. In another lifetime, you might just show up as a stranger on the street, but that you empower and enable the learning of a significant life lesson for the other person. And it's always mutually beneficial. And so when you come into a lifetime, you have agreements or contracts across lifetimes that when you come into life, there's a certain objective that you intend to achieve with that person. So you have agreements. So the core group of souls that you like to, share multiple lifetimes with, obviously that's a smaller group, but you can have hundreds and thousands of kindred spirit relationships. They're all significant, and they all have a purpose in your lifetime, and that is to help you achieve a certain life lesson that will enable or facilitate the growth and progression of the soul. So if you can grasp that concept of kindred spirit relationships, then I can explain soulmate relationships, because soulmates are also kindred spirits, but I like to say that they're like kindred spirits on steroids. What I mean by that is that every soulmate is a kindred spirit, so you have all of those same attributes and not personality traits, but attributes, I guess is the best word for it, as you would have with a kindred spirit relationship, except that it goes beyond just a kindred spirit relationship. This is an exclusively romantic, a romantic love relationship, and that's not to say that you can't have romantic relationships with kindred spirits who aren't your soulmate, and that happens frequently. So we'll address that another time. But because that's a big issue that a lot of people don't understand, and it's one of the biggest reasons people have dysfunctional relationships, because they're not with their soulmate. But it doesn't mean that they're not doing soul work together. So I'll address that in another video. But soulmates have specific indicators and energies about them. There's a specific magnetism about soulmate relationships. And let me be clear, we only have one soulmate. A lot of people think that you have multiple soulmates in different lifetimes. No, you have one soulmate, and you just want to share your lifetime together, lifetime after lifetime. So sometimes, most lifetimes, you will connect. Now, unless you come into a lifetime specifically intending to achieve a goal, a life lesson that you have to achieve on your own, being not involved in a romantic relationship. It's possible that you could do that and not connect with your soulmate in a given lifetime. But more often than not, over the course of your eternal lifetime, which consists of multiple lifetimes, physical lifetimes, you'll connect with your soulmate. and share that lifetime together. And the symptoms that I mentioned that you experience or that are indicators of soulmate energy, a very strong indicator is a magnetism, an attraction that goes beyond just physical or sexual attraction. And what I mean by that is lots of times when you do connect with your soulmate, you'll find that there's been a lot of hit and miss opportunities or experiences in your lifetime. Maybe you've almost connected, but just not quite. Maybe you actually did connect at one point in time, but something happened to divert one or the other of you onto a different path, and you had to like come back around and reconnect again. And so, but lots of times soulmates will have that experience where they've connected before and they keep getting pulled back to one another. Sometimes, without even realizing that you've passed one another like two ships passing in the night. Don't confuse this magnetism, this soulmate magnetism, with a dysfunctional codependent relationship where it's a broken relationship where there's abuse and dysfunction, where people are addicted to one another and to that codependency. That's an entirely different scenario, but that's something that Spirit really is beneficial in helping us discern whether or not you're in a codependent relationship or whether it's a soulmate relationship. But honestly, if you look at it from a spiritual or an energetic perspective, it's very easy to tell the difference, because soulmate relationships, you're with your best friend. I mean, you're your very best friend. And so you're very, very rarely going to find a soulmate relationship where there is lots of dysfunction and miscommunication and abuse. You're just really not going to find that in a soulmate relationship. That's probably going to be with an entirely different kind of energy, and it's not soulmate based. So anyhow, I wanted to cover that for you and just give you a little background on the different kinds of soul energies out there, and let you just understand the basics of what a soulmate relationship really is about. If you have additional questions, and I'm sure that you probably do, I encourage you to leave them for me below on this channel, and I would be happy to address your questions in future videos. I do get some really interesting questions from people about soulmate relationships or about relationships in general. If you disagree with me, if you don't understand, I would also invite you to share your thoughts about why you don't agree with me or why you don't understand what I've explained. So I think that's all I'm going to share for today. I invite you to visit my website at www.psychicblessing.com. If you would like to schedule private webcam reading with me to look at your own situation or relationships, and I will address additional issues about soulmate energy in a future video. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you find that beneficial. Please do let me know what your experience is in your relationships. I would love to hear from you. Take good care. Blessings to you.